It's a new game built on the values that are so dear to Arcane. It's another first-person immersive game set in a dangerous universe, only this time we've added a psychological thrill. Here is the world's first look at what we've been up to.
So, Bethesda announcing Prey at E3 2016, eh? That was a bit of a surprise announcement, wasn't it? Especially seeing as it looks absolutely nothing like the incredible Alien Bounty Hunter sim we were shown way back in 2011.
Somebody shoot this motherfucker!
Understandably then, a lot of people have been pretty disappointed by the look of Arcane's take on the IP. I mean, at first glance it all looks terribly generic, kinda like a System Shock rip-off with a bit of Dead Space thrown in there for good measure. And worst of all, there's no sign of Tommy Tawodi anywhere.
Listen to yourself. Who do you think you're kidding?
The fact that the story is still shrouded in mystery doesn't help much either. It's hard to get excited for something that you don't really understand, although tell that to No Man's Sky fans. But anyway, I've dug a little deeper into the recently released gameplay trailer and uncovered some juicy clues that should give us all a much better understanding of what's in store. So, without further ado, I'm Eurogamer's Ian Higton, and these are 9 secrets you may have missed in the Prey gameplay trailer.
The year is 2034.
The opening shot of the trailer is accompanied by a voiceover from the game's protagonist, Morgan. It seems pretty unremarkable at first, but there's actually something rather odd going on here. You see, in the opening shot of the original cinematic trailer from this year's E3, we hear Morgan's automated alarm clock tell him that the year is 2032.
Good morning, Morgan. Today is Monday, March 15th, 2032.
In fact, it reiterates that point several times.
Today is Monday, March 15th, 2032.
Back with the QuakeCon gameplay footage, we can also just about make out the year 2032 on his monitor screen. This begs the question then, why is Morgan suddenly talking about 2034 when every other piece of info released before this point suggested the game was set in 2032? What's with this 2-year gap? Well, there's a few possibilities that I can think of, the most probable being that this section of the game is taken from prologue chapter set on Earth before Morgan is transported to the Talos 1 space station for the main chunk of the game. This journey into space would explain away those missing 2 years quite nicely, so it's either that or Bethesda just straight up went and cocked up the dates in the voiceover, which would be pretty embarrassing. So then, if a portion of this game is set on Earth, whereabouts on Earth is it set? Judging from the view from Morgan's window in the E3 trailer with that red suspension bridge in the background, I'd say San Francisco is a good bet. Minus a few structural supports here and there, that bridge is the spitting image of the famous Golden Gate Bridge. You can also catch a quick glimpse of it in the QuakeCon trailer, but in the E3 trailer you can see that it has that distinctive red colour that the Golden Gate Bridge is known for. This building that also features in the opening scene is definitely worth pointing out. Again, you can see it in greater detail in the E3 trailer. It has this kind of Art Deco look to it and some kind of emblem on it, which to me looks like a T inside a circle. From the automated alarm clock in the E3 trailer, we can be pretty sure that this building belongs to a company called TranStar.
There is a 3 p.m. meeting in TranStar Conference Room A.
Who it's safe to say are Morgan's employers. See that logo on his coffee mug there? We see the TranStar name a couple of times in the QuakeCon trailer, here as Morgan approaches what I presume to be the space station Talos 1, and again here and here, inside what we can safely assume is the interior of the deserted space station, thanks to this lovely view of a planet through the window. The name TranStar itself suggests a few things actually. I mean, it's obvious they own a big-ass space station, but why do they own it? It certainly sounds like TranStar could be in the business of transporting people around the stars, but why, and most importantly, how they do this hasn't been established yet. Chances are high then that this unknown method of transportation is the cause of the alien presence we see later on in the trailer. Also, this stuff here looks a lot like cargo. Could Talos 1 be some kind of transportation hub as well as a research facility? Will we also visit a Talos 2 or a Talos 3? At the moment, we just don't know, but if there's a Talos 1, it kind of makes sense that there'd be more Taloses out there somewhere. Now, technically this info isn't in the new trailer, but it's definitely worth pointing out so you're on the right page when it comes to the story and setting of Prey. The space station Talos 1 is involved in the testing of something called neuromods on humans. That's why in the E3 trailer we have this bit.
Looks like we have some tests to run through today.
So why is Morgan about to be tested on? Well, it looks like he might have been a little bit naughty and tried out those neuromods for himself. In both the cinematic and the gameplay trailers, we can see Morgan lift a mysterious device to his eye before things go a little bit weird. Rewind to the start of the E3 demo and we can see Morgan's got a bad case of pink eye that gets worse and worse as time passes. This suggests that not only did Morgan infect himself with neuromods for whatever reason, but also that this portion of the game takes place on Earth before he's been transported to Talos 1 for testing. So let this be a lesson to you all, don't go shoving strange things into your eyeballs, no matter how nice they look. Alright, let's take a look at the aliens now. We can see a few different types in the gameplay trailer, ranging from humanoid shapes to weird, shitty little crab things that'll undoubtedly be a pain in the arse to shoot. They're black, almost smoke-like, if smoke was able to become solid, and thanks to the QuakeCon trailer, we now know they have the ability to change shape and mimic inanimate objects, a bit like a sci-fi version of Prop Hunt. Check out this little guy turning into a chair if you don't believe me. What's interesting is that this trailer also suggests that these shadow creatures may be able to possess elemental powers. Here's one that's doing the electric boogaloo, and these ones that look slightly robotic seem to be belching out flames. Short and sweet this one, but it looks like Morgan will be going for some spacewalks in the game, so expect zero-G puzzle solving and maybe a little bit of floaty combat as well. This bit's really interesting and gives us a good hint towards the way exploration will work during the game. See at the back wall there, that white splodgy stuff that looks a little bit like rocks? Well, during QuakeCon, Bethesda showed off an attendees-only gameplay demo where they demonstrated something called the Gloo Gun. The Gloo Gun, which fires a residue that hardens on impact, has a couple of uses. You can see in the cinematic trailer it can be used to freeze enemies in place, but going back to the shot from the gameplay trailer, we can see that it can also be used to reach new areas. Whoever's been playing this game, for instance, has built a crude staircase so they can reach that upper platform. That's bloody ingenious, I tells thee. Alright, so technically this final point wasn't in any of the trailers, but another thing demoed at QuakeCon behind closed doors was Morgan's ability to transform himself into a mug. Yep, you heard me, a mug. According to a report in PC Gamer, at some point in the game, Morgan learns how to mimic inanimate objects just like the aliens can. In the demo, the audience watched as Morgan broke into a locked room by transforming into a mug and rolling through a small gap in a window. Attendees also witnessed another one of Morgan's abilities called Kinetic Blast, which allows him to propel himself along whilst disguised as inanimate objects. Bonkers, but actually really rather cool. Right, well that's as much info as I've been able to glean about the game from what little hints are available in the trailers. Before I'd done any research, I wasn't that bothered about this new version of Prey, but now I've built a more solid picture of it in my mind, I've got to admit I'm rather excited about it. If you think I've missed any secrets in the gameplay trailer though, do let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Eurogamer for more Prey coverage in the future. Oh, and you can check out the trailers mentioned in this video for yourselves by clicking on these handy annotation thingies, which is kind of useful I think. Did you notice I'd turned into a mug, by the way? Totally mimicking a mug here. It's quite a good mug. It's got a picture of Mr. Greedy from the Mr. Men on it. And it says Mr. Greedy on it, because it's a big mug. Jokes.